Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory. We give you peace. We give you honor. We give you blessing. We give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you. The fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name. Ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Yes You O Cubed one-on-one. It's just me and you. We're having this conversation on this morning. My name is Regina L. Stillman, and I am your spiritual thought leader. Thank you for joining me on this fine day. Today is Tuesday, May the 18th in the year 2021. And I am so glad that you all have come in and joined me on this fine day. Hope you had a really good weekend. I did. It was very, very busy, very active. Got a chance to see old friends and loved ones. You know, funerals always have that way of bringing folks back together. But I tell you what I really experienced on this weekend was a whole lot of love. And I tell you, anytime you get showered with a whole lot of love, that's a beautiful thing. Got to see some people that I hadn't seen in a long time, including many of the members of our ministry. I want to say thank you to Restoration, to the Second Power, because you guys showed up and you guys showed out in love. And that's what I talk about. You know, all the other things that people get excited about don't excite me as much as when I see love in action and love being manifested. And y'all just made my day. Y'all just made my day. Y'all just made my day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Made it through, and I'm a little bit I'm not tired. I had a very, very good, restful and peaceful day on yesterday, and I just really enjoyed myself. Curious Jog, good to see you. Well, you all are coming in saying good morning, so let me get this party crack-a-lacking the right way. First and foremost, I gotta always give it up to the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. Now, what I'm going to do, because the Rebel Ink almost always beats everybody in here because she is my mod. So I want to continue to give her all kinds of props and all kinds of appreciation for the things that she does. But I'm going to tell you what, when I go back and look, it looks to me like the first person that came in and got their hips in Grandpa Holmes's chair outside of the Rebel Ink was Teresa. Oh my goodness, yes. Teresa Jones. I want to thank you and I want to say congratulations for being the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. Yes. And Teresa came in. She told me she couldn't stay for conversation on today, but she came in to tell me, listen, my heart is here. And that's really what it was about. Teresa Jones was the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. And so we're going to give it up to her on this fine day. I appreciate you, sis. And you just know I love you. You know I love you. That's my girl. Now, that being said, get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. I want to say good morning, Curious Ja. That's why you got me on the task this morning. Good morning, Curious Ja. This is the first time that I've seen you actually come in and talk in the chat that I can recall. You know, I'm getting old, so I might be. Y'all see all this gray, hoary head sitting up there, so I might be off. But thank you so much, Curious Ja, for being in my chat on this morning. I want to say good morning, Curious Ja. Good morning, BTD Mom. Good morning, Stacy 546. I want to say good morning to the Rebel Ink and anybody and everybody else that's out there, but you're not in my chat. I want to say good morning to you. As I always invite you, you're welcome to come in and talk with me just one-on-one, just me and you. You're welcome to come on in and have a little chat this morning. Yes, your first time. Thank you, Curious Ja. I really appreciate you. It's always good to have new family. And that's what you are. You're already family. Anytime you come into the lion's den, yes, this pride of lions is relentless. Yes,
Pride. This Pride of Lions is relentless because you're going to hear us roar. Anytime you come in and join this Pride Alliance, I want you to know that definitely, let me get my coffee cup out. You are definitely a part of this family automatically. So we're so glad to have you this morning, sending all kinds of mad love to you, baby. All kinds of mad love to you. Now, as we get ready to get started, I want to, as I always do, give appreciation to all of those that come in and support. Thank you for, I want to encourage you again, like the stream. For those of you that will, share the stream, host the stream, do all of those things because you all are allowing this broadcast through climbing that algorithm ladder to just get farther and farther out there. So I appreciate you. We have a good viewing that's coming in. New York is doing its thing. We must be broadcasting good and live out in New York because they're coming in from New York, and I appreciate that. We got them coming in. Thank you for hosting the stream, Curious Ja. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. We've got people coming in from everywhere at this point. And of course, you know, we have our Australian friends that and I'm excited about everybody that comes to join and be a part of what we're doing on Yes You O Cubed is one-on-one, just me and you. Now I want to come back and always give appreciation and thanks to my my moderator, the Rebel Inc., and my engineer. She does it all for me. She takes care of Spiritual Thought Leader. When y'all see me get stumped and we get jacked up, she gets in that studio and fixes whatever is wrong. She makes it right. Well, she has some active wear. I want you all to go out there and check it out. Won't you please? TheRebelInc.com. Yes, TheRebelInc.com, your activewear, and that's where you want to get it at. That is the place to be and the place to get it. Right on out there, you all. Right on out there. I love The Rebel Inc. The Rebel Inc. had a pop-up communion service on yesterday. That was the cracks. It was the cracks. It was supposed to be a 30-minute test stream. And that communion service turned into plus 3 hours. And I tell you, it was off the chains. Good morning, Cassandra Isaiah. So good to see you and have you in the room, sis. So good to have you. Now, y'all know how we do. It's time for us to get this party crack-a-lackin'. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. You know how we take this coffee. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because I tell it like it T-I-Z-Tiz. So here we go, y'all. Here we go. Let's have a good time having some conversation on this morning. Let's get the music going. You all let me know if it's too loud, if I need to turn it down, if it needs to come on, whatever needs to happen, let me know. I tried to get those settings modified from last week and so that we could not blow you out of the water. But here we go. Let me know. Kasi Coffee Cups. I see your coffee cup, BTD Mom. I know there's a lot of traveling and a lot of movement going on this morning as well. So some of our regulars are going to be out of pocket, traveling back to their places of abode, having come in for a little R&R and for the funeral services over the weekend. So we wish them Godspeed in their travels and would that they make it to their destination safely. Now, while we're slumbered, slept, and slobbered, is that music all right? Y'all let me know if the music's all right. I tried to adjust those. Good morning, Nayray 1205. I know you're saying good morning to Cassandra, but I think I miss saying good morning to you. So I want to get everybody. I don't want to miss anybody. Now, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, we had some things going on. Obviously, Israel and Hamas is still under challenge. Now, I want to bring this out because, I had this conversation a little bit on Sunday with Yes You and Friends. That's every Sunday evening at 6 o'clock when my friends join me and we have a conversation. And I mentioned that I'm going through a process where truly I have SK8843. Good morning to you. I see your coffee cup. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Lion's Den. Now, I have to say, I am really in this place, y'all. And as a spiritual thought leader, and this is what I want you to understand. We're constantly growing and evolving and moving on to new levels and heights. Now, I am one of those that, as I look at everything that's going on in this world right now, today, I'm looking and I'm saying, you know what? I just have to come on out and say I am against violence in any way, shape, or form. I don't care if it's physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, any kind of violence. I'm taking a stand that I oppose every fiber and every ounce about that thing. Good morning. There's my sire. King Coogee in the house. For just to appreciate my brother, because I love this man. I absolutely do. This is my sire. This is my friend. And yes, King Coogee is the maker of the tracks of music that you hear in the background on this show, because he made them for the show exclusively and to you. Y'all see, that's wearing and donning our Yes You t-shirt. That's the kind of friend and supporter this brother is. And so I just got to give him mad love, because he's just my guy. He's just my guy. I tell you what. Good morning to you. Now, as I said, I have taken the position, and I looked at, it was interesting, after I said that, the very next day, Bernice King, the daughter of the late Dr. Martin Luther King, posted how nonviolence is a way of lifestyle. Good morning, Shay Floyd. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays, but girl, you're making my day. Thank you for coming in, and grand rising to you. Oh, Jesus, Lord God, thank you. Woo, all my babies coming in this morning about to make me feel good. King Coogee, good morning to you too. Now, I have taken this decision, and after I made the decision, like I said, Bernice King had a post that she put up, and she talked about how her father truly was a man of nonviolence and the principle and doctrine of nonviolence in all its forms, and he practiced it not only out and about in the streets, but also in the home. Which then brought me to the question. Well, actually, I was already there. We had this on Sunday night, and then she posted this on yesterday morning. And she was talking about how nonviolence really is the greater method of saying, let's find another way of resolving our interests and conflicts, whichever side it may be. But let's do it with love, because love is greater than any negative power of violence. And she was talking about how it seems that so many have moved away from that concept of nonviolence as a tool to be able to really bring the change that we want to see in this world. And so I was so happy to see that, because it just kind of reinforced my position that I've chosen to take and chosen to make, which then on Yes You with Friends, we had the conversation. Does that mean that y'all gonna stop spanking your cheerings? Cause there is a little bit of issue with you laying hands on your children with violence. And so there was quite a discussion around that. And I'm going to just go ahead and continue to echo, even though that was not my experience. One of my things it was not my personal experience growing up. I got spankings, and I did spank. And I don't have children that I birthed out of my body, but I have nephews, and I have daughters and nieces that I did not birth, but they're mine. And so, I repeated the system and the cycle that I came from. And yes, I laid hands on my babies. not in an abusive way, but I did spank. But then I began to say, just like, can violence beget nonviolence? Can dirt create anything other than dirt? Dirt is dirt. And I often think about my auntie who had some sister-in-laws that would argue because they were of the persuasion of people. There are some people that eat dirt. And so they would have this big argument about whether it was clean dirt or dirty dirt. And at the end of the day, beloved, dirt is dirt. And dirt cannot clean dirt. So, and there is no clean dirt and dirty dirt. There's just dirt. So at the end of the day, I have to, kind of carry that over. And I know some of you all, you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to espouse to it. It's my position. It's my point of view, and I'm going to stick to it. I feel like I have evolved. And yes, we're constantly evolving. I feel like I have evolved to the point that says I want to find another way to teach children what happens when there's conflict other than me beating or spanking them or having some kind of physical confrontation. And so that's the place and the choice that I've chosen to go. And as I said, I was encouraged the very next day. You always get a confirmation. For me, this is for me. It may not work for you, but for me, I definitely am taking this position, because where do we draw the line? So going back to Israel and the Palestinians, and I love the fact, now y'all pay attention, because you'll see it often in American literature. You're going to see them portray it as conflict between Israel and the Hamas, meaning they're eliminating the fact that Palestinians are involved in this skirmish. They want you to see them. It's the equivalent to, instead of when they talk about people of color and black people, there's always some kind of negative association that they use to describe black people. The ex murderer, the suspected killer, all of these different things that they'll come up with. The drug addict, they come up with all of these descriptive words that they put in front of whatever they are going to say, because they want to continue to drive a negative concept and connotation. Now, let me just say, I have close friends of mine who are Palestinian. I have close friends of mine who are Israeli. I have on both sides. So, and I even had this conversation with one over the weekend, and she said, we just, as far as all of us being in the same group that we interact with together, they just don't have any conversation about politics or anything as it relates to the conflict, because they're not going to agree. Why am I bringing up that point? This conflict didn't just start. This conflict has been going on for centuries. This conflict has been going on for years and years and years, longer than most of us have lived. Or actually, yes, all of us. It's been going on longer than that. At what point do we say no more killing? Because when I got up this morning, what did I read? We've got civilians who are now being gunned down. We've got civilians that are now we already had it going on, because, one of the things that they began to cry foul on was the fact that little children are being killed. Come on, Shay, a lot of the issue. Little children are being killed and massacred. And I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to convince me that the murdering of little children has any kind of salvific value in our society. When you start coming out killing the little babies, at what point do you consider yourself to be acting in atrocities against humanity? So this became a real hot topic after the first little batch of children got killed. Now we're up to over 200 and something was the last one I actually saw in number. I want to say that was Friday. So I don't know where we are this morning, because I haven't actually seen the casualty. But this is what I'm trying to get at. And all of this, let's deal with it. The reality of Israel and Palestine, it's in the name of religion. And that's even more grievous to me, that we have found it appropriate to say, I can kill you. You killed my dog, I'll kill your cat. All of this in the name of religion. And I know some of you all might tune me off right now, but I'm your spiritual thought leader. This is 2021. There's got to be a better way, folks. This has been going on for centuries and it's still not resolved. And at the same time, people are dying. People are being killed. And I'm not drawing a line and taking a side on one side or the other, because ultimately, as I said, I have friends that I'm not talking about I know somebody. I have friends that are Israeli. I have friends that are Palestinian. So when I look at this issue, I don't want either side of my friends to be murdered by the other side, and especially not in the name of religion. And so something down in my shando, y'all, something down in my shando has to get to the point where I'm saying, whatever the issues are, yeah, I got you. It's not just that physical manipulation to gain conformity is reflected throughout our community. We equate good with compliance rather than with forward thinking and good choices. Good point, Shay. And this is, let me say this. Honey, wasn't that some coffee? Wasn't that some good coffee right there, SK? No cream, no sugar. That coffee was strong and black, because Shay Floyd is telling it like it T-I-Z-T is. I feel down in my shondo, there's got to be a better way, because the question came up. Jay Betts asked us on Sunday in our conversation, especially in the black community, how much of our continued corporal punishment, i.e. spanking as a form of punishment, how much of that actually came from slavery? How much of that actually came from chattel slavery? How much of that is a carryover from I'm going to string you up to the tree and I'm going to beat you till the flesh is hanging off the back of your body, and then send you back, pour salt in the open wound, and then send you back out there in the field to do some more? How much of this is not a carryover of this mindset and this action and physical manipulation to gain conformity all through our community? And so when we start talking about the chokeholds, physical manipulation, when we start and we want chokeholds banned, I could go down the list. I could go one by one and name by name, because what happens is when you take this tool away of physical manipulation, you come up with another tool. And one ends up being or going to the extreme where it's just as dastardly as the next. So then you start getting into, should you just spank with your hand? Should you get a switch? Should you use a belt? Can you get an extension cord? Can you just take your fist and start beating on people? At the end of the day, all of these different extremes and levels, they may start off here, but they continue to expand and go on further and further until it's a relative thing of what's abusive to one is not abusive to another. At the end of the day, can we just be nonviolent? At the end of the day, can we learn how to communicate? Can we learn how to talk? Can we learn how to negotiate? Can we learn how to have other tools in our arsenal that do not include me putting my hands on you or sending a bullet your way or bombing up your whole neighborhood? I just feel like I'm going to study war no more. That's me. Y'all talking about heaven, but I'm talking about right here on earth. I'm going to study war no more, and I'm going to study ways to not put my hands on children. I mentioned this on the other day. My sister, who is BTD Mom. BTD Mom ran a phenomenal youth academy, preschool. And I'm telling you, Ubuntu Academy, where kids start smart. That was her motto. And she had the most ingenious ways of redirecting. And I think it was Jonna CPW, I don't know if she's in here or not, who said on our show on Sunday, that whole idea of the physical abuse, let me take away abuse. Physical correction can oftentimes reflect a lazy way of dealing with and handling your children, because there are other ways. And case in point, I brought this up and I said this from the standpoint of grandparenting disease. Let's just use that for an example. More times than not, grandparents don't ever lay their hands on those grandbabies. we didn't ever We didn't ever, you seldom if ever put your hands on your grandbabies. You found all kinds of ways to redirect that grandbaby. You found all kinds of ways to talk to that grandbaby. You found all kinds of ways to deal with that grandbaby other than reach out and touch someone. You pop them with whatever. You find other ways to do it, y'all. So you can't convince me that it's not doable and it's not possible. It is. It is, because listen, grandparents almost be over in the corner crying themselves when they see those grandbabies getting. You look over, you see a tear in their eye. They done clouded up and teared up, and it's like, if you can do it in that way, you can do it all the time. The thing is to give these tools and to give these options to people, and then it carries over then in whether we're talking about the police department, whether we're talking about nation against nation, we've got to come to another way of dealing with our conflict. And I've said this for years. At the end of the day, now, King Gucci, I hear you. So we didn't spank our kids in Africa before being brought over in ships. You don't personally believe that we learned all of that. I hear you. I am of the mindset that, and I didn't say what we did before or after. I'm just talking about corporal punishment in all of its methods and in all of its ways. I don't espouse to it. And I feel like, even if we're talking about what happened back then, this is 2021. And I feel like in 2021, there is a better way. Don't love violently. That's what I'm saying, Cassandra. Don't love violently. And many times the frustration and anger that's being acted out are the frustrations and anger of the parent. And it may not even be relative to the child. It just gets inflicted upon the child, just like battered wives that get beat up by their spouses, or battered partners, because it's not just women that get beat. I've seen men that get the beat down. So at the end of the day, if you've had the teaching that to correct and alter a behavior, I'm gonna put my hands on you, or I'm gonna have some kind of physical contact with you to change that behavior, you're gonna carry that over in other areas. So that's my personal belief. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is Yes You O Cubed 101, just me and you. And listen, I'm telling it with no cream and no sugar, strong and black the way I believe it, because I believe that we can evolve to a place where we can stop beating our kids and spanking one another, and having chokehold restraints and all of this stuff that we've come into. I believe that it's behavior, and it's aggressive behavior that can be modified. That's my personal belief. Y'all can go wherever you want to go with it, but I ain't gonna study war no more. There you have it. I ain't gonna study war no more. And as Bernice King said, I do believe that nonviolence is a higher goal and a higher level of living when you find other options and ways to talk and communicate and come to a place of bringing people together. I believe that can be done without violence, including the children. Now, back to the story of Hamas. I want to again identify that we're talking about a wing and an element. So why can we not say Israel and Palestinians in our newspapers, in our media? Because again, it's giving this image of the negative. And of course, you're going to see that in American newspapers, because America has sided in with the Israelis, and we're funding them with billions of dollars. And this, the Palestinians are very upset about. And that's why you see the Palestinians in the United States standing up and crying foul. It's not okay, United States. It's not okay, President Biden, to continue to fund these people who are operating in an apartheid and occupied way. And so I see the argument from both sides. I understand the argument from both sides. And again, it goes back to the religious element of who should have been in control of what particular land based on religious issues. That one wants to say God gave me this, and the other wants to say no, God gave me this, and therein lies the conflict. So, you know, again, it saddens me that we even have the whole element of communication, that we're debating about whether or not God has called us to fight and kill one another. So, okay, King Coogee, you understand my viewpoint. Some people seem to like to place the blame of how AA people are because of WP. I just don't believe all of how we are as African Americans, for those that don't know, and white people, didn't come from WP. I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm not by any means saying that that is the case. I'm saying we're in a new place and in a new space in this world. Can we not in 2021 bring our levels to another place so that we can do something different? And when you start talking about the nature of man since BC, I hear you, but listen, God didn't create us violent. God did not create us violent. I don't believe that. And even I look at the mercy, even after Cain in his jealousy rose up and killed Abel, God put a thing that said, listen, we're going to put a mark on folks so that, you know, you can't kill them, you know, and that there are opportunities. And because that came out of, again, aggression that got out of control simply behind jealousy, if you want to espouse to that concept. So at the end of the day, you know, I just can't, I can't friend him. I can't friend him. Violence. I just can't friend him. So I'm gonna let it go. And I feel like if they could let it go, they could stop killing each other and bombing one another. And that goes for everybody, not just Israel and Palestine, but I feel like that goes for everybody. I feel like everybody needs to stop killing everybody else. That's my personal opinion. So there you go with that as far as the Hamas. Now, I also want to bring Jay Betts on his Twitter. Jay Bez had something out on his Twitter. And this is just, I like minutia. I like little bits and pieces of information, just little tidbits. And this little tidbit intrigued me. And that was that if you go out on Google Maps and you look at the areas that are currently being bombed, they called that out where you can't see it. In Google Maps, you know, you can Google a location and see very clearly and see your house very clearly, a video shot of your residence. So at the end of the day, we get King Coogee, my way. That's the root of all of that. It's got to be my way, and then I reach out and touch someone with violence if you don't do it like I want you to, which is saying quit it, quit it, quit it. Now, back to my point here about out in that area blurred out. And so one of the things that they're identifying is that some of this is obviously purposely done, that you cannot. And isn't it interesting? You cannot get any kind of clear picture from that area if you one big blurry. These are the types of things very because people have been trying. And as they begin to do that, to realize, I can't see. Now, who would have thought that something as simple as, so when they begin to challenge them about why we cannot see these particular areas, of course, they wanted to come back and say matter of national security and all of these, they've blurted out so you can't. Out that's to me almost like the day in which we live, and I'm gonna say it before, I'm gonna say it again. Give those where at I see going on. If you all are still there, let me know. It looks like there may be something going on within the channels, but if you all can still see me, let me know. If you're having problems on any of the platforms, let me know, and we'll try to get everybody reconnected. But nonetheless, I know I just lost feed. So nonetheless, I want us to recognize that I feel that had not bystanders been standing right there and recording the George Floyd incident. Had it not been for them recording at that particular time, we never would have seen what was actually going on, because by the time we got footage of camera, video footage and all of that, who knows what we would have seen? Who knows what would have been clipped up, snipped up? It's a lot. Okay, Stacy, I see something's going on and I'm not exactly sure. Thank you for letting me know that. We're going to journey on. I haven't heard back from the other platforms, but I'm going to keep going until somebody tells me they're disconnected. I know I've lost my feed all the way. So if it had not been for the ability, thank you, King Coogee, but you can still see me. Thank you, Coogee. So if it had not been for the ability of us to see everything captured real time and put out there for the world to see, we would have never seen the conviction like we did. Thank you so much. Thank you for the updates. Thank you. I appreciate that. If we hadn't been able to see it for ourselves, we would not have gotten the verdict that came back in the case of George Floyd against Derek Chauvin. I feel like that's part of the issue on all these other things, even the little snippet that came back to the Browns and they're crying foul. Number one, we didn't get to see it till who knows how much later. And then when you bring it out to us, it's all edited and cut up and spliced, and all we get is a little bit of a taste of something. Put this stuff out so we can see it. So at the end of the day, I really am one that I feel sincerely that there is, even in this situation, with all of a sudden we're talking about whole plats of land that are not viewable from satellite. Satellite is not, I mean, the images are so blurry, you have no idea what's going on. And under cloak of darkness, can I call it that? Under cloak of blurriness, I feel like we're playing games with people's lives so that we cannot get accurate knowledge and reporting about what's going on, and people are dying. So when Jabez sent that, he tweeted that this morning and retweeted it, I just was blown away when I looked at the images and I said, you know, we do and experience every kind of manipulation in these countries to try to keep people in oppression. And even something as simple as satellites blurring out the images so you can't see. And I said, man, this society in which we live today, man, we do some dastardly things. I mean, just dastardly. And I'm like, man, let the people see what's going on. What have you to hide? And at the end of the day, I feel like it comes back to propaganda reporting, because I get to tell you what I want you to see, what I want you to hear, and I'm not going to tell it in any other way than the slant that I want you to buy into, rather than to let you see it for yourself, broad open daylight in live living color. So when I saw that today, I have to say I did raise my eyebrow, and I did feel some kind of way. I said, man, I didn't even think of that. Did y'all think about, I didn't even think of that. Why they've now blurred it out where you can't even see it. And you know, it makes you wonder what's really going on behind the veil. But it does cause pause and reservations on my part, because I just hope and pray there's not some crazy stuff going on back there. Now, that was where I wanted to start this morning, because I wanted to come back to this idea of study war no more, and can we just stop the violence for everybody, and we wouldn't be here. I also saw the New York Times says that 723 epidemiologists, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, said that we really cannot return back to normal until all of us in the United States, the majority, including our children, are completely vaccinated, and that is still going to take a minute. And so they are speaking relative to the government mandates that are lifting the masks and saying, hey, you know, business as usual. We can finally go back to the way we were, as Barbara Streisand sang it. and you guys are taking these masks off and running out here in mass and hanging out with everybody. But they said this will not be over until even the younger children can also be completely vaccinated. And so they're sending out caution about these government lifts of the mask. Now, I just want to say, for me and my house, we gonna mask the Lord. As for me and my house, and I'm talking about this temple, this house right here, I'm gonna mask up. Because listen, at the end of the day, y'all may and I conducted, I officiated a funeral service over this weekend. Was happy to do it. I'm always honored to speak on behalf of a family and their loved ones and bring them comfort as much as I can, and serve them in that capacity. And whether or not you all have realized it or not, preachers and ministry workers are essential workers, because things don't just stop because of the pandemic. But I do pay attention to the way I go out and interact in and amongst the people. And so, I just looked at it and I said, I am fully vaccinated. For those that might be wondering, I am fully vaccinated. However, I'm not lulled into the erroneous thought and thinking that because I'm fully vaccinated, I am immune from getting COVID-19. Because at the end of the day, have a very near and dear friend who was fully vaccinated, who was battling for their life and would have been dead, the doctor said, had they not been fully vaccinated. And so the vaccine in that instance saved their life. But at the same time, I'm looking at people going out here, and some of these folk have not been vaccinated. I just want you to know, everybody's not vaccinated. So it was interesting. And hey, y'all know I tell it like it T-I-Z-T-is. Come on, Rebel. I tell it like it T-I-Z-T-is. The conversation came up from some of us that were sitting at the table, and one of the individuals said, I can speak for sure. And this was on the Kansas side, y'all. This was on the Kansas side. I can speak for sure that the workers were bringing the COVID to the people inside of the nursing homes. And you know it had to be, because the people in the nursing home are not going anywhere. So come on, Stacy, you wearing your mask until you can't. I'm telling you, they can say it's gone. I'm gonna probably still be one of those in a mask, not because I'm fearful, but I'm just like this. I'm saying I'm not taking any chances with who's got what and who, because I want you to hear me, because this is the God's honest truth. She said that, and they did, she was at one of the nursing homes that ended up getting shut down. She said that they were coming in there, and some of the people that they had COVID. And they were, same thing with the prisons and the jail, Shay, same thing. She said those workers knew that they had COVID, and they were still being required to come to work, and they were not reporting it on purpose. They were not reporting it. And the only way that they got shut down was that one of the children found out that her parent in the nursing home had contracted COVID, and she called the health department, and therein was the initiation into and the investigation of that nursing home that eventually got quarantined and shut down. But this was the thing. As she said, many of the workers were carriers. They did not have any symptoms. They did not run a temperature, but they were carrying that COVID in there. And she went on and confessed, I was one of them. But now this is where I'm going to give her props. She said, I refused to go, and made up some lies. She said, I'm not going to play games. I lied and said I came up with some other ailments in my body, and I let that, it was not true, but that's what she said to keep from having to go to work. And there were other workers that did the same thing, but they continued to go to work. So at the end, and this was the thing, when the health department sent them in. Now this is where it gets dicey, y'all, and this is where I feel like at the end of the day you almost have to kind of look at the system and say how much of these numbers that we see are accurate, because they were purposely skewing these numbers. I'm just going to call a spade a spade. They were purposely skewing these numbers. Well, of course, the previous administration wanted to skew the numbers because they kept saying, oh, it'll go away. And better yet, it's not even real. There's no such thing as COVID-19. Hoax. There's no, it's not doing a thing. So needless to say, there's a whole lot of reporting that I'm going to say I feel like those powers that be were in cahoots and in trying to bring those numbers and cases down to not make it look as bad as it was. But she said, listen, we were going in there. And so eventually they came back and, had to do do your forehead temperature when you come in the door. Come on, Curious Ja, I'm telling the truth. And she said, and then she went on to say, and a lot of times they would just go and their checking on the patients consisted of looking in the door. Are you still breathing? Are you still alive? And step back out. Y'all, so much of our system needs overhaul. I just don't know what else to say. It needs overhauling. And when you listen and you think about these types of things, and they knew, the administration knew that this is exactly what was going on, and they were the one that were pushing it. They were pushing it. So at the end of the day, you have to look and say, if all you see is dollar bills, because that's really what it is. All you see is dollar bills. You got to operate because you need that money to keep coming in. You got to have the workers here because you got to have that money keep coming. You don't care about the workers. You don't care about the residents. You care about the money coming in the door, because at the end of the day, when my loved one dies from COVID that your worker brought to me and you knew it, and you send that dead body out the door, you're going to fill that bed with another patient. Now, I know I'm talking the truth. And so I sat and I listened to that story, and I said, at the end of the day, she ain't lying, because I already said I felt like that's what was going on. All she did was confirm what I already suspected to be happening, because there's no other way it could have been going on, y'all. That had to be people, workers from the outside coming in, bringing COVID to those senior citizens. And so at the end of the day, could it be? The devil? Listen, that ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. Because when you don't care about children and when you don't care about senior citizens, what kind of people have you become? I just want to know. When you don't care about children and you don't care about senior citizens, and all you see are cha-ching dollar bills, when that's all your mind is focused on, and y'all know I don't just throw shade, I shed light. I heard that conversation at the table, and I shook my head, and I did applaud the sister for she said, she looked at me kind of sheepishly, and she said, I got nothing else I can say, Pastor. I lied. When you got to lie to do the right thing, something is wrong. I'm gonna say it again. When you've got to lie to do the right thing, rebel, something is wrong. And I'm looking and I'm like, this is the society that we have developed and cultivated. My God, today, these are senior citizens who are helpless, and we didn't care. And so at the end of the day, as she said, there were the multitude that were walking around that were in essence nothing more than carriers. That's where I want you all to pay attention. because there are people just like her. She said, I never had not one symptom, but my test came back positive. Never had one symptom. Took more than one test during the time window, came back positive. It wasn't a false positive. She was a carrier and had no symptoms whatsoever. And she took herself out of circulation. Good morning. Oh my goodness. Good morning, Mary Patterson. So good to have you. So good. This is my cousin. So good to have you, Pastor. Thank you for joining. So she took herself out of circulation. And so at the end of the day, this is what I'm saying. And I'm going to unshade right here, because the reality of it is there are a lot of people that were out there carrying COVID and they knew they had it, and they were not disclosing, and subsequently they were endangering the lives of other people with knowledge. Stacy, you said how many, let me get down so I can read your comment. How many think there will be a wave now that there are so many not wearing masks and so many variants out there? Well, you know what? That's a good question, because I think that the likelihood is very high. I think that's why these, let me see, what was the number? 723 epidemiologists are coming out while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. And they're saying, hey, listen, the pandemic is still a pandemic. It's not over. And people need to pay attention that until we also get everybody, including the little children, as many as we possibly can, vaccinated, this pandemic is going to continue to go on. So you bring up the point of all the different variants that are out there and the people not wearing masks and all of that. I want to say and gratefully say that the experiences that I've have had majority, if not all, at the funeral home. It was mandated. You had to be in a mask. And the places that I've been have been mask wearing situations. And even when I go out, I went out on yesterday and went out on a walking trail out in nature, and there were no people out there. But guess what? I'm gonna still put on a mask because I don't know who I'm going to encounter and when. Because as I said, just like this sister said and testified out of her mouth, she tested positive and had absolutely positively no symptoms at all, but the job would have kept her coming in. Oh, and then let me close. So she said, so when they went back after they opened up, after being shut down, they had to agree to go ahead and do the checks at the door with the thermometers and, ask all the questions. And she said, and so, that lasted all of a week. And thereafter, the thermometer just sits there on the desk and the employees just walk right on in. The employees walk right on in and they go to work. So, I just have to say, when we look at all these dastardly, and I'm going to say it again, dastardly things that people are out here doing relative to COVID-19, I just want you to be safe. I want you to pay attention. Because everything is not the way it seems, and that's all the way across the board. And you would think people will walk in integrity. You would think people would think about the next person, their children, their household, their grandchildren, their babies. You would think that before they expose them to all of that, potentially taking somebody's life, you would think they would take themselves out of circulation, but many are not. So at the end of the day, we got to pay attention. That came out while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. And I chose that as a story to highlight this morning because I want us to pay attention to what's going on. And so then the New York Times came out with a follow-up. While we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, that there are many who are vaccinated and they're keeping their masks on and saying they're going to do it forever. So, hey, I am not mad. I am not in the least bit. Thank you for liking the stream, Luvinia Christine. Good morning, sis. Good morning. Good to see you in here. Good to see you in here. So at the end of the day, It is what it is. Curious Ja, I tested twice within 4 months. Both was negative. You went to another test as a precaution and tested positive. No symptoms, feeling great, and had to isolate myself. Took another test 2 weeks later and it was negative. And thank you for being conscientious, and thank you for sharing that, Curious, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When people go ahead and take the initiative themselves, because there are a lot of people that are just going on. I had to give a pastor side eye, a good friend of mine, because they knew folks down there in that congregation were positive, and they still had them folk coming up in there talking about no a plague shall come nigh thy dwelling. And before it was done, everybody in there had it. And I'm like, you know what? You should have disclosed. Your people should have disclosed. And at the end of the day, we had a part in the ways right there. Because I just couldn't, I could not appreciate what he had done to that congregation. And so, at the end of the day, yes, they ended up being one of those hot spots on the news, and you're sitting there looking crazy. And no, don't say the devil is attacking you. That's not the devil attacking you. That's you not using good common sense. And listen, if God cares about the least of these, then listen, he cares about everybody. I don't care, right on down to the least of these. And brother leader and sister leader, you should too, if you're going to be a good leader. That's how I feel about that. QTs are no longer making people wear masks anymore. That's a lot of people crossing paths in one day. And you're exactly right, Stacy. So by the time you get finished, and so that takes us back to, let's get the hand washing in there. Wash your hands. Wash your nasty hands, as my aunt used to say. Wash your nasty hands. So make sure you get that hand washing. Use some hand sanitizer. Whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, and do as much as you can to keep yourself from COVID. I'm now fully vaccinated and will continue to wear my mask. That's me too, Curious Job. That's me too. And ain't no shame in my game. I know, Shay, it's right. This is right. So I wanted to bring this up because somehow we've gotten really, really lax. Once the vaccine came out, people just felt like they're invincible, and still reminding you that the fact that some of these people are not, N-O-T, all caps, bold, italicized. Some of these people are not vaccinated. So, I plan to live. And I plan to be as healthy as I possibly can. Now, at the end of the day, should the Lord say something different and allow something to afflict my body, I'm going to do everything I can to get right and get healed. But I'm not going to go out of here and just, I'm going to say it like this. My auntie, who is now nearing 100, literally, I have an aunt that is nearing 100, and I am her namesake. My Aunt Lou, my middle name is Louise. She said to me, listen, y'all can go around here and catch a cold if you want to, but a cold gonna have to catch me, because I ain't gonna just stand there and let it catch me. So I'm like, Aunt Lou, cold's gonna have to catch me. I'm not gonna just stand there and catch it. So that's the way I feel about all of this. I'm not gonna catch it. It's gonna have to catch me. And so, do what you can and what you will to protect yourself. But please walk and walk advisedly and take care of yourself. Would you please? Now, I'm looking at the different things that let's see what else is. Oh, I know what I wanted to go to. There was some stuff that was trending, and can I find it? Addition is, how many of y'all were young out there? Come on, Stacy. I crack up every time she says it. And this is what I say about Aunt Lou and that statement. A cold's gonna have to catch me. I'm not gonna catch it. And honey, she keeps right on stepping. And that's why she's pretty near 100. And I'm gonna say this, at pretty near 100, she walks better than friends my age. She gets up every day. She walks to the grocery store, which is a uphill, up over the river and through the woods kind of scenario. She gets up and walks every day. She said, I don't care if I just go buy a bottle of water, if I just go buy whatever, I do something. I go to the store and walk just so I can exercise my body. And she ain't lying. If she catches a cold, it's because a cold caught her. She didn't catch it. So at the end of the day, I'm going back. New Edition is trending today on Twitter. And I decided to come here because I just wanted to kind of have some lighter topic today because I had a heavy weekend and we shared a lot of love. But y'all know, anytime you lay a loved one to rest, that's traumatic in and of itself. So I was looking for something a little lighter today. Y'all come back tomorrow and I'll get you a little more of could it be? You know, that's my motto. Somebody. I want to give a shout out to Shelby Nicole Cosplay, and I haven't received it yet, but Shelby Nicole Cosplay, this is my sister. Y'all go out and check her out. She does in all types of designs, anything digital that you need, but she has made me a shirt. Could it be? Could it be? The devil ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. I've said that on so many shows now that people are running around saying, could it be, including my little great nephew. And so, you know, he can't even hardly talk. He said, could it be? Could it be? Mr. Malcolm, could it be? Could it be? So she has sent me a shirt. It's en route to me even now. I got the tracking number for it last night. But she sent me a shirt. I know. There's my brother Larnell. I love you, man. I love you. Brother Larnell Jones with the Lawrence A. Jones and Sons Funeral Chapel. Y'all go check my brother out. I love him. Larnell, I'm telling you. So I'm not going to probably get in a whole lot of could it be's today because I'm going to let myself kind of have a break and give it a rest because I want to talk about some other things today to keep my energy level down because y'all know once I get into could it be, y'all know I'm going 100 miles an hour. Teresa Jones, she one time she told me just breathe, Regina, breathe. But I'm gonna let the devil have a little respite this morning, and we're not gonna bring the devil out so much. But I wanted to go a little more on the lighter side. So at the end of the day, New Edition is trending because all of these brothers are you're going to need her information. Oh yeah, Curious Job. I want you to hook up with her. Listen, anytime I find a good thing, I promote it. Brother Larnell Jones there at Lawrence A. Jones and Sons Funeral Chapel. I'm going to promote it. The Rebel Inc. at therebelinc.com. King Coogee is out there and he's creating. We've got, and I believe in support. Shelby and her significant other, Mike City, who's one of the greatest DJs. I love his stuff. He mixes and remixes on the fly on Twitch. He's an excellent. And I'm talking about people with excellent spirit as well as creativity. And so please check her out. But I got a shirt on the way that has been shipped out to me. That said, thank you for putting up that shout out for King Coogee. Thank you. Go and check him out as well. We've got creative people and we need to support one another in our entrepreneurship. Now I'm looking and thank you. There's Mike City. What's trending today? And of course, these were kids when I was grown, so I'm not going to necessarily resonate with it as much. But for my younger viewers, do you all realize that New Edition is trending today on Twitter? And all of these jokers are well into their 50s. Can you believe that? We're talking about the 50 plus club. And so they have a picture of three of them sitting there and they showed the picture. Good morning, Bishop. That is my friend. This is integrity walking and talking. This is one reason why I love Bishop Ronald B. Andrews so much. I always appreciate when you got folks that you can know are honest and you ain't got to look over your back. And I'm talking about preachers too. When you know you got folks that you don't have to look over your back and they are integrity walking and talking. I love it. And that is none other than Bishop Ronald B. Andrews. I love that man. I love him. Oh, thank you, Cassandra. Thank you. I love you, sis. You are so precious. So at the end of the day, I thought I'd come here for some of my younger viewers because a lot of the stuff that I talk about, y'all know I go way back in the day. And so, they talk about the New Edition and they're trying to, I think they're trying to have a little comeback, but last time I heard Bobby. Anyway, So at the end of the day, they started coming out with the unsung and good morning, Nathan Lamont. Oh, good to see you. That's my baby right there. Now, if you ever want to hear a good singing squall, honey, that's it right there, honey. And nothing tickled my heart more. Good morning, and thank you for sharing the stream, Monica Smith. Thank you so much, and good morning to you. He blessed me. He's my, wherever I go, Nathan Lamont is gonna follow me, and he's gonna give me that good squall. He's gonna give me that honey. He's gonna encourage me all along the way. And if you ever hear him say that's moist, Pastor, and if you ever hear me say moist, I got it from Nathan Lamont, because he be out there in the audience just, that's moist, Pastor, that's moist, that's moist, that's moist. That's my baby, and he'll give me that good holler. You got to have somebody that can holler. That's my good hollering baby right there. Good morning, Nathan Lamont. Now, for those of you, I know that, and you know, you got those that Nathan Lamont, I love you, baby. You got those that once they connect, I don't care where you go, and I don't care what you do, Nathan Lamont is right there. And he's moved to a whole nother location, but honey, he's right there wherever y'all see, he's right there hanging on to his pastor. I love that baby. Now, so they started, I'm gonna just run through the list, and this is gonna be this one's for the young people, as Kirk Franklin said, because you know I don't know any of these people. Now, new addition. Good morning, Barbara. Oh my goodness, my friends, y'all coming in here now. Good morning, Barbara Hardy. This is my girl. This is my these are they. And baby, if you have never experienced these are they, you have missed a treat. Cause honey, they gonna sing till you gonna lose your weave, your wig, everything coming off by the time they get finished, cause you gonna be slain, just laid out. They traveled the country far and wide, but that is one singing group. And I'm so glad for Barbara. And she's my friend. They are my friends. And I appreciate her for coming. And Barbara comes in pretty near every morning, and I appreciate you for that, sis. Now, here we start going to all of the groups from the day that are now in their 50s and more, the 50 plus club, and I'm gonna just name them. So y'all really gonna have to help me on that one, because I am completely and totally clueless about next. Then we have Guy. I don't know anything about Guy. That might be your guy, but I don't know anything about Guy. How about Drew Hill? And then we got Backstreet. Then we got Jagged Edge. Then we got H-Town. Then we got Silk, After 7, and High Five. Did I call anybody's number in there? Did I lose y'all? Because it looked like the stream had a little glitch in there. Let me know if you're in here, because listen, I don't know what's going on with this stream today. It wants to clown and act silly, and I really think it's the weather, y'all. In this instance, I believe it's the weather. And I really think it's the weather, y'all. In this instance, I believe it's the weather, but I'm not sure. Did I call anybody's group? Let me name them one more time. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 15 groups, y'all. Let me know if you're still out there. Somebody say, hey, somebody holler at me. Somebody say something. Let me know you're still there, because it looks like I may have lost some feeds. Anybody out there? I'm gonna wait till I hear. You still here? Okay, thank you. Still here? Hey, you here? Great. Okay, so that's all Twitch. Do I have anybody out there in YouTube or Facebook? Are we still there? Anybody out there still there? YouTube, Facebook, anybody on those other platforms? Rebel. Shay. Oh, I see you. Thank you. That's what there's YouTube. All right, thank you. So I'm gonna go through this group one more time. Twitch is a great. All right, so I don't know if it might have been Facebook feed that got cut. So okay, I'm sorry for those of you that are out there in Facebook that may have gotten cut. But we're going to keep going. And that's why, while I'm there, let me just say one more time to all of you that have been coming in Facebook, I'm going to encourage you to move on over to YouTube. That link is going to be in there. Come on over to YouTube and find me, or Twitch, because I do have a problem. Every single podcast, I have to file a dispute with Facebook to keep my feed up and to keep my post up. So we're going to be migrating over to YouTube and Twitch as my primary platforms. I'm out there in Patreon and all that too, but Patreon is a subscription place, so I'm not mentioning Patreon because I'm not trying to get the financial. I'm just trying to get you linked in where you can get the information for free, and that is YouTube and Twitch. So if you would go ahead and migrate over to one of those. I think my Facebook feed just got cut, but it's all good. Thank you so much, Curl. Curious Job. I am so glad that you came in, and I appreciate you. Come back. We are here every Tuesday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. You have been a joy, and I've enjoyed conversation with you today. Have a blessed one. God bless you, and peace for your journey. To the day, I'm gonna come through, and they're trending because it's hard to believe. Y'all know time just flies. Time just flies. Now, I'm gonna come back and ask how many of y'all think that New Edition, should they just leave it alone? Should they just leave it alone, or should they try come back? I don't know, y'all. But here we go with the groups. New Edition, Jodeci, Boys to Men, 112, Tony, Mint Condition, Next, Guy, Drew Hill, Blackstreet, Jagged Edge, H-Town, Silk, After 7, High Five. If I named your group in there, y'all say something to me. Tell me who you speak up for your group right quick. Speak up for your group. And that's the thing that's so amazing. And I'm going to say this to you youngsters because, as I'm approaching 60 and I'm breathing right on it. And you start realizing those are your people. You love them all. Monica said you love them all. You start realizing that you kind of get stuck. I remember when my parents got stuck, and I remember when my grandparents got stuck, and I was like, oh my goodness, you know what? You're showing your age. And now I'm that same one because mine is the 70s and the 80s. And so these 90s, I don't even know who they are. I mean, some of them I've heard of, some of them I have not. But Monica said, you love them all. Can you believe that your people are over 50 years old? And it's trending because it's just so hard. It's so hard to say goodbye. Anyway, it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday when you've been out there and these are your peeps. But time waits on no man, as the old folks say. So that is trending with New Edition. I guess trying to have a little comeback. New Edition ain't so new, but we keep on doing what we do. Come on, Cassandra. Come on. Listen, I do remember the beginnings of New Edition, but honey, when it kept going, I like, half of them people, I didn't, who's Guy and who's Next? I don't know nothing about that. Nonetheless, it's out there. Now, while we get down to the end, before we get ready to move on out to our word of the day, oh, they're so worried. They are so worried. Yeah, you 45. You're still a young spring chicken. You are still a young spring chicken at 45. So, yeah, that you know it's sad when Twitter starts rocking because all your groups from your youth are all over 50. I'm cracking up. I just think it's funny. Now, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, they are saying unequivocally that they believe Matt Gaetz is he's down for the count, y'all. Because Joel Greenberg, the former confidant, the former cohort, the former partner in crime, he's singing like a canary. Yes. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Chirp, 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 chirp. Yes, yes, yes. Joel Greenberg is a chirper. He has pled guilty. Now, see, this is what folks ought to realize. Listen, the farmer. Old MacDonald had a bird. So at the end of the day, Joel said, what will you give me in exchange for my testimony? I got a testimony. Yeah. I got a testimony. Chirp, 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 chirp. I got a testimony. Honey, he's singing. He's laying it out there. He said, let me testify. First, giving honor to God, to the pastor, to the judge, to the prosecutor who's head of my life, and to all of these people in the jury that's going to give me a lesser sentence. I just want to thank God that I know what this man did. I just want to testify that all them girls were underage and we knew it. I just want to tell right now, it was good while it lasted, but I just want to tell you, don't let the devil ride. Because if you let the devil ride, he'll want to drive. Don't let him ride. I just want to testify that me and Matt Gates got in that den of iniquity, and we let the devil ride. We let the devil be the boss, and now our soul is lost. So at the end of the day, I just want to testify. I just want to tell it like a T-I-Z, tis, no cream, no sugar. I'm going to give this coffee strong and black because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to bend over and pick up the soap. I don't want no soap. I don't want him to make me clean inside. Won't he make you? I don't want to make me clean inside. I don't want it. I don't want it. Let me tell you what he did. Let me tell you about the birds and the bees and the flowers and the trees with their underage. That's what he did, y'all. That's what he did. That's what he did. That's what he did. So I'm trying to tell the story, Nathan. I'm trying to tell the story. And he's trying to tell it too. He's trying to tell it too. He is singing, y'all. So at this stage of the game, you know, I'm looking, and it will be interesting to see what Matt Gates is going to do. I think the brother just ought to just go ahead and resign and just turn it in and just come on. Spill all the tea. Spill all. He said, listen, he got them folks after they arrested him, and he looked at them and he said, listen, get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. I got a story to tell you about some things that we've been through. Yeah, that's what he did. He came on in and he got to talking. His lips got to chirping, and he spilt the tea. You understand what I'm saying? So at this point, listen, get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Y'all know how we take it over here. I'm trying to tell you, we take this no cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tell it like a T-I-Z, tis. And that's what brother is saying he's trying to do. Brother Greenberg said, let me tell you like a T-I-Z, tis. If y'all give me a trade, if y'all just give me strong and black, Nathan, strong and black. If y'all just give me something, just skim a little something. Yeah, just a little something. As Maxwell said, give me a little something. If you just give me a little something up, I'll tell you everything you wanted to know. Now, this is what I want to say. Matt should have known better. Because these types of people, whenever they're put in a pinch and whenever they're put in a pickle, you know, at the end of the day, yes, Monica, moist. It's moist. At the end of the day, these are the types of people that if they get put in a pinch and a pickle, they're going to sing like a canary because a canary. They're going to sing like a canary because they have no principles. They have no morals. They have no scruples. And it's really me, myself, I, and mine, us four, no more. Anything that doesn't fit in that window, and mind you, I'm sure he was probably hanging out for the fringe benefits and all of the extras that he got by being around Brother Gates. But listen, let his own gates praise him in the gates. His own gates are going to be behind gates and bars in a minute, because at the end of the day, brother is talking. And he's telling his story. And I'm so glad he did. Now, my thing is, I have a problem with, good morning, Joe. Oh, Australia's in the house. Australia in the house. Brother Joel Johnson Cranitos is in the house. Good morning to you, my brother. So good to see you. So at the end of the day, listen, I'm saying I recognize that Gates should have known. He should have known. He should have recognized that if we get in bed, dirt is only going to make more dirt. If you get in bed with dirt, you're going to come out dirty. If you get in bed with dirt, and that's what I'm trying to get us to understand. If you get in bed with dirt, you're going to come out dirty. So at this point, he said, listen, I'm dirty, but I'm trying to clean myself. I'm trying to wash myself up just a little bit. So at this point, the former county tax collector, that's who Greenberg was, is now about to be, he pled guilty to 6 federal charges, including the child sex trafficking of the 17-year-old girl, along with wire fraud. Now, these are the people that you have representing you in government with Brother Gates. And so at the end of the day, Greenberg is likely going to be the key witness for the federal prosecutors in charging Gates. Listen, could it be? Thank you, Monica. Could it be? Could it be? The devil. So at the end of the day, listen, you said you've hit a few times. You've hit a few times over 60 and your chicken still clucks. Yes, Joel, the devil ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. And so, this is the thing. And it kind of brings me back to yesterday while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. Franklin Graham, and I posted this on my page because I'm just disgusted. Franklin Graham comes out with his statement regarding Trump. He says, I never said he was Christian, but he stands for Christian principles, and I appreciate that. Are we talking about the same person? Are we talking about grab him by the you know what? Are we talking about suspect that him and his relationship with his daughter don't look right? Are we talking about the same man that they took him to court for discrimination? Are we talking about the same man? Listen, I need you. Listen, and you ain't said nothing but a word. I need you to have all the seats. Have all the seats. Don't let him ride. Don't let the devil ride. Because if you let the devil ride, he's going to want to drive. I'm trying to tell you, don't let him ride. Don't let him be your boss. Don't do it. Don't let him ride with you. Because if he ride with you, he'll tell you what to do. Don't let him ride. Some of y'all old folk remember that song. You young folk don't know nothing about that. But listen, they have just let the devil perch up in their carriage and say, listen, this marriage was made in heaven. Let's roll right along. And these evangelicals are just eating it up. So when you want to challenge them with somebody like a Matt Gaetz, when you want to challenge them with someone like a Donald T. Trump, when you want to challenge them with all these other people, these players that are just asinine and crazy and doing all kinds of stupid stuff, and you come out and say they may not be Christian or the best example of Christianity, but they stand and speak for Christian principles. What are you saying? What are you really telling me? What kind of Christian principles is that? So, and you can show me better than you can tell me. So because they come out and hit your speaking points that they stand against abortion, that's enough for you? Because they come out and they get radical and blow up abortion clinics and kill innocent people, that's enough for you? Because they come, I mean, what are you saying to me? Just explain it to me, please. Explain it to me, Mr. Graham. Explain it to me. Because I know you're not going to say too much because your fanny's in the news because your laundry came out and we saw your stuff flapping in the wind. So that's all I'm going to say about that. So needless to say, a pot not going to call a kettle black when y'all doing the very same thing. And it's in the news and we've seen it between you and your brother Falwell. These